Bike build number 52, ST Dominator. This is Moonshine Horsepower. We also have Moonshine Harley-Davidson. I'm Jamie Lima. Let me go show you this bike. Bike build number 52, the ST Dominator. This is a 143 cubic inch Dominator. We're gonna break it down, go over the parts and pieces on this, and what makes this thing make so much horsepower. What you notice the most is probably the carbon fiber pieces on her. Those guys are courtesy of Hoffman Designs. The customer wanted to go with a mostly carbon fiber look and do as much as possible while still maintaining the look of the Harley-Davidson Road Glide ST Screaming Eagle, and we think he nailed it. Two different options when you go with the Hoffman carbon fiber setup. So this is the gloss, which is your shinier version. They also have a version that looks more like the factory setup right here that is on the tail section of the seat. Also, right out of the Screaming Eagle catalog, we have the Screaming Eagle Öhlins inverted fork in gold on this bike. Really nice setup. It is a upgrade from the factory suspension that comes on this bike. The inverted fork that comes on it from the factory is a Showa front suspension. Now we are going to the Öhlins right from the Harley-Davidson catalog. Factory brakes, we have BST carbon fiber wheels, front and rear on this. Of course, we stuck with the 19 because this is a performance bagger. We want the bike to perform, and the 19-inch wheel performs better than anything larger out there on the market. It's pretty much the standard for all performance baggers. We got factory rotors on here. Harley did a really good job with the full floating rotor. They're big right out of the box. They built a performance bagger. These STs are highly desirable. They are amazing out of the box, and they're even better when you do something like this build. Something new on these bikes, all the new 24s and newer, Harley redid their lever design, and they went to kind of what you would have on a dirt bike or maybe some of the sport bikes out there. So there's a star in here, and you can quickly adjust how far away your brake is from your handlebar. So right there is closer. I can take this out, move it here, and look, that just moved it farther away. That easy. Something really simple that Harley did from the factory, which is a big improvement. That way, you no longer have to buy aftermarket levers. The factory levers are really, really nice right out of the box. We have the factory Harley-Davidson Screaming Eagle. This is their extreme wedge air cleaner system, and this thing is moving a ton of air. I mean, it made 190 horsepower with the filter on the dyno, and it was really, really impressive. So this, I would say, is about 185 to 190 horsepower potential filter right from Harley-Davidson as well. So very, very nice product. Their fit and finish on their product is really nice compared to some of the aftermarket stuff on the market. Just depends what you're looking for. It is a 143 cubic inch Dominator. It's got a Dark Horse Man of War flywheel in here. It has our MHP lightning rods, our pistons, a pair of total steel rings that are gas ported. It went with a fully ported CNC head. These are plus 2mm oversized valves in them. Same thing Harley's running on the Screaming Eagle heads. These started off as the Screaming Eagle head, and then they got better. Harley intake manifold on here that has been ported as well, running a factory 68mm throttle body. This has the MHP 615 full send camshaft in her. So that camshaft is good for anything 135 and larger cubic inch that's making a lot of static compression for that camshaft. And when you run the full send camshaft, we gotta have a large exhaust to make it breathe. So this is the Moonshine Horsepower top fuel exhaust pipe. Comes out of the head right at 2 inches and then goes to 2 1/8. And the star of the show is the length of the primaries and this 2 3/4 inch exit from the merge collector. So 2 3/4 inch merge, Goes straight in the muffler. That is also a perforated baffle with our sonic wave chambers in it. And the whole muffler is 2.75 inches to allow us to be able to make bottom end torque, which we are getting from the length of the primaries, and the diameter and muffler setup is helping us release that top end horsepower. So the dyno graph on this bad boy, it's a beast. Off idle, she's making over 140 foot-pounds of torque, and it just steadily rises to about 3,400. At 3,400 RPMs, we exceed 160 foot-pounds of torque, and it carries a massive amount of torque. It's carrying 160 plus from 3,400 RPMs all the way to about 62, 6,300 RPMs. So that is a massive amount of torque. That's why we say there is no replacement for displacement. Displacement makes all the torque. And if you look at this dyno graph, peak horsepower is at 6,700 RPMs. She just clipped over 193 horsepower. So it's a monster. And keep in mind, that is with a brand new O-ring chain on her, brand new tires on her, and 93 octane. So to clips 190 plus horsepower and 93 octane is amazing. One of the main keys to this whole setup and to make this an ST Dominator is Harley releasing the CenterCooled platform. So if you haven't been tuned into what Harley did, in 2023 and a half, on the CVOs, they released a brand new cylinder head. It was their CenterCooled head. The reason they're calling it CenterCooled is if we look down on the bottom of the bike, the cooling system is in the center of the motorcycle. And now we are flowing a lot more water through this cylinder head to cool them off. So we are seeing about 40 degrees cooler head temperatures on the CenterCooled platform. So if you're a non-CVO, they came out in 2024 on all the touring bikes. If you're riding a Softail, the CenterCooled head hit the Softails in 2025. The difference on the Softail is it is not a water-cooled head, it is an oil-cooled head on the Softail platform, but still the intake port and the intake manifold are greatly improved setups than what we saw in the M8s before that. So big difference. Also, since we have a lot of water flowing through the head and we're able to keep the heads cooler, we're able to have a little more timing in a CenterCooled M8 platform than the previous generation. And that is leading to more power, it's leading to more early torque, and there's more to come. So the back half of 2025, you're gonna see even more stuff come out from not only us, but everyone else on the market is gonna be releasing cool stuff because these bikes are killers. On the primary, this is our go-to primary for big horsepower builds. It is the factory compensator Harley has. What we're doing here is we are just taking the pieces that get compromised with insane amount of horsepower like this build, and we replace the comp ramp with the Moonshine Horsepower, what we call our comp of power. It's this comp ramp right here. This is just made from Liberty gears. It is finished nicely. It is just a piece of metal that isn't gonna break. It's gonna take any abuse you could put at her. We are sticking with the factory Harley chain tensioner that it came with from the factory inside this primary. And the clutch, we are going with the Apex. This is a whole design from Recluse where it doesn't just have the clutch basket, it's got a clutch hub, it's their whole inner clutch plates, their frictions, their seals, everything's made to work together, and they have 3 different spring kits depending on how much horsepower you're gonna be putting out. But it's just a really good clutch for an everyday rider. You know, if you're racing the bike, you might want a little different setup, but for an everyday rider, to be able to hold and not slip, we like the Apex because you're not gonna kill your left hand and it's gonna hold all the power. A couple finishing touches we do when you are building a motor, something to think about is the hardware. So on this bike, we went with ARP's stainless polished 12-point hardware you get from Fueling. They have really nice kits for the engine, the transmission, some other parts of your bike, but it just extra finishing touches, right? Just make it look pretty. Also, we're gonna get a lot of questions. What transmission's in this bike? Bone stock. And the reason being, it depends how you operate the bike. You could throw all that horsepower through the drivetrain correctly, and this tranny will hold up for a very, very long time. When we go racing and we go to the racetrack, we are running a factory Harley transmission at the drag races that has back cut dog, so it shifts faster. We never run a bigger, more robust transmission at the track because if you're operating it correctly, we don't have a problem. Now, if you're having a little too much fun, which you can with your clutch. Maybe you're not getting out of the throttle shifting and you're doing some unique things, you will destroy maybe second or third gear. Most of the time it's third gear, but if you're getting out of the gas and you're just blipping it and shifting back into it with no clutch, that's fine. We see them hold up. If you're getting out of the throttle and you're just giving it a little bit of clutch to help disengage, no problem. If you're staying in the throttle and you're pinning it and you're trying to shift when it's pinned, you're gonna break it. If you're pinning it and you're trying to just use the clutch while it's pinned, you're gonna break it. But if you operate it correctly, the stock tranny, it'll handle this beast now and later down the road. So up here on the top side, what makes the Olin so nice is you have all the adjustments. You have your preload, which are gonna be these blue guys. You're gonna turn those to preload the spring inside that inverted fork. The left side of this guy has a compression. That's gonna be your inner Allen key, is gonna adjust your compression. The right side over here, we have the rebound. So we're gonna adjust that. If you notice, the top triple tree right here is a Kraus Moto setup. So we have the Kraus triple tree on here, a pair of 10.5 kickback Kraus risers, and we have a ODI bar on it from them as well. So this setup is really, really nice. It's gonna be an overall setup of about 13.5 inches total rise from your triple tree. Because we have the upgraded suspension in the front and we have the Screaming Eagle Olin's inverted forks on the front, the rear got Olin's as well. So the rear shocks, same setup. You have a preload adjustment, which is your spanners right here. Each shock is gonna have a compression adjustment at the top, and on the bottom of the shock, they're gonna have your rebound. So you wanna be able to dial in your shock for your riding habits and for how much weight you're putting on the bike. And that shock is fully adjustable, lets you do everything you need to do. On the back, we finish her off with a pair of Custom Dynamics lights. These guys are warranted for life. They do a good job. They fit inside. They clean up the back end a lot. The only thing to keep in mind if you do these, the new bags on the new redesigned bikes stick out farther. So this light, no one can see in an angle. So sometimes when we do these lights, we are putting additional lights on the bottom of the bag. That way you're more visible from an angle on the highway. So keep that in mind, because that's the reason the factory Harley lights stick out so far, is so they're visible from the side. These are not. Something to keep in mind if you are going to be replacing the factory lights. The factory seat right from Harley-Davidson is awesome. If you guys have noticed, they've really upped their game on the finishes of the seats, the stitching of the seats, the shape of the seats, and the foam. The foam is really nice out of the box. Of course, everyone likes a really cool aftermarket seat, but for this seat coming on the bike from the factory is a really, really good option. Fits a lot of guys. It is low in the bike. It's got a lot of support to keep you from not slipping back, and it's grippy. If you want to see more bikes like this, please hit that subscribe button. We're going to be busy the last half of this year. And if you want notifications when we're about to launch something, a brand new build, a brand new part, or we're doing one of our horsepower after hours talks, hit the bell. You'll get the notifications before we do one of those launches.